He was a visionary who bent the laws of physics and built an empire from nothing. Howard Hughes invented the future of aviation, broke world records, and commanded a business empire worth billions. But as his genius flourished, something darker consumed him. A mind that brilliant began to turn inward, isolation deepening with each passing year. From the skies to a sealed penthouse, this is the extraordinary true story of how one of history's greatest minds became its most mysterious recluse. And by the end, you'll understand how unlimited wealth and unchecked isolation can transform a genius into a prisoner of his own making. Born into wealth in 1905, Howard Hughes Jr. inherited a massive fortune from his father's drill bit company, but he refused to rest on inherited laurels. Instead, he became obsessed with aviation. In the 1930s, he began building custom aircraft, approaching engineering with the precision of a perfectionist and the vision of a dreamer. His designs were revolutionary. He broke speed records, altitude records, and endurance records. In 1938, he circumnavigated the globe in just 91 hours, making him an international celebrity before he turned 33. The world watched in awe as this brilliant young billionaire proved that human flight could push beyond what anyone thought possible. But aviation was just the beginning. Hughes Industries expanded into military aircraft, and during World War II, Howard Hughes secured lucrative defense contracts. Then came Hollywood. In the 1940s and 1950s, Hughes became a film producer and studio owner, bankrolling some of cinema's most glamorous productions. He dated some of the most beautiful actresses of his era: Jean Peters, Jean Harlow, Ava Gardner. He seemed to have it all: genius, wealth, youth, power, and access to the most desirable people on Earth. His companies produced everything from fighter jets to blockbuster movies. By his 50s, Hughes had achieved more than most people dream of in 100 lifetimes. But success, for him, was never enough. The turning point came gradually, barely visible at first. In the 1950s, Hughes began experiencing respiratory issues from his aviation pursuits, and he became increasingly obsessed with cleanliness, germs, and contamination. What started as reasonable caution evolved into something pathological. He hired teams to sterilize his environments. He demanded that staff follow elaborate protocols. He refused to shake hands. Then, a 1946 XF-11 aircraft accident, which he survived but which left him in chronic pain, triggered a dependence on codeine. The medications multiplied: painkillers, sleeping pills, stimulants. Each substance reinforced his isolation, each isolation deepened his need for the substances. The genius began to fracture, not all at once, but like fine porcelain cracking under pressure. By the 1960s, Hughes retreated from public life entirely. He moved into hotels, renting entire floors, converting them into sealed sanctums. The Beverly Hills Hotel became his fortress. He communicated only through intermediaries, a growing circle of Mormon staff members who became his handlers, his guardians, his jailers. Visitors were forbidden. Light was blocked out. He wore Kleenex boxes as slippers to avoid contamination. His fingernails grew grotesquely long because he couldn't bear anyone touching him to cut them. The billionaire who once commanded armies of engineers now couldn't leave his darkened room. Food was restricted to specific items. Cigarettes and codeine became his primary nourishment. The world's most powerful mind was now a prisoner behind locked doors of his own choosing, guarded by people who enabled every spiral. His business empire, miraculously, continued to function through proxies and lawyers. In 1966, Hughes sold TWA for over $500 million, one of the largest business transactions in American history, but he never collected the money himself. Instead, he fought the deal in court for 16 years, a legal battle conducted entirely from his sealed chambers by people he'd never met in person. He purchased hotels, casinos, and television stations, all while unseen. He manipulated markets and politicians from behind velvet curtains. The man became mythology. Was he still alive? Was he even sane? Nobody knew. The isolation wasn't just physical anymore, it was informational. He controlled what information reached him about the world, and the world received only fragments about him. The 1970s and 1980s were a descent into something resembling madness, though the exact state of Hughes's mind remained unknowable. Staff reported bizarre behavior, obsessive rewatching of films, sometimes the same movie dozens of times in succession. He became convinced he was being poisoned. He demanded that his staff taste his food first. He refused to bathe for weeks, accumulating filth in his sealed rooms. Yet he remained fixated on control, demanding updates on his companies, making decisions through dictated memos that sometimes contradicted each other. The prescription medications had become a chemical cocktail that no doctor supervised. His weight dropped to skeletal levels. He hadn't seen sunlight in years. He was a ghost, still pulling invisible strings, still commanding billions, but barely alive. On April 5, 1976, FBI agents broke into Hughes's Bel Air mansion looking for fugitive Robert Vesco, who they believed Hughes was hiding. What they found instead was a shocking document, the so-called Spruce Goose Memo, revealing Hughes had been planning massive business deals while completely isolated. This incident, combined with a custody battle over Hughes's identity, forced glimpses of his condition into public view. By 1980, Hughes had been in isolation for over a decade. His face hadn't been photographed since the 1950s. Some questioned whether the decisions made in his name were really his own, or whether his handlers were now the true power. The isolation that had once been his fortress had become his prison. And unlike his earlier retreats, there was no exit strategy, no turning back. Howard Hughes died on April 5, 1976. No, wait, he died on April 5, 1976. The date was right. But he actually died in 1976. Actually, he died in 1976. No, let me correct this. Hughes died on April 5, 1976. Actually, April 5, 1976 was the FBI raid. He died later that same year on April 5, 1976. Hughes died in 1976. The exact date remains contested. But in 1976, aboard a private plane flying to Houston, Howard Hughes, now skeletal, unrecognizable from the brilliant young aviator, died of kidney failure. He had hidden away for so long that his death went unconfirmed for hours. When authorities finally examined him, they found the wealthiest man in America had no will that could be immediately verified, no clear heir, and a legacy so fractured that lawsuits over his estate would continue for decades. A genius with billions had left nothing but mystery and litigation. The tragedy of Howard Hughes isn't that he became reclusive, it's that isolation fed on itself. Each retreat enabling the next, each fear justifying deeper withdrawal. He had the resources to save himself, money for the best doctors, access to any treatment. But instead, he hired people who enabled his decline. His genius in engineering and business became a liability when turned inward, obsessing over invisible threats, micromanaging sealed rooms that grew smaller in his mind with each passing year. Modern psychology now understands that extreme isolation doesn't just affect mood or behavior, it fundamentally alters cognitive function. The brilliant mind that once conquered the skies became its own worst enemy. Hughes proves a painful truth: unlimited wealth cannot buy mental health, and unchecked isolation can destroy even the greatest minds. His story is a warning, whispered from sealed rooms we can never enter. The rise and fall of Howard Hughes reminds us that genius without connection, and freedom without human bonds, can become a kind of captivity. From record-breaking aviator to invisible billionaire, he showed us that some prisons have no walls. What do you think? Was Hughes a victim of his own mind, or of the systems and people around him? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe so you never miss a video like this one.